just leaving the Pinky Burns trailhead, and I got my wife, Mrs. Squidley, to help me shuttle my car. My car is waiting on me at Cheaha State Park. So I'll be hiking south. It's about 60 miles. And so she just left. And I'm just getting started. And I think I'm going to be calling this my redemption hike after what happened on my last hike with getting sick. So updates to come. So only a mile and a half in, got a pretty late start because of the shuttle and getting to the trailhead. So I started walking about 10:20. It is right at 11 o'clock. I've been here for maybe 10 minutes. And I am stopping for a lunch and some strawberry lemonade. I am at the Chakalaka shelter, which is pretty typical of the shelters that I've seen on the Pinhoti. The view here is not anything to write home about, but this place is nice. This would be a good stopover. I will not be stopping here tonight. I have about another 10 miles to go. All right, so I'm gonna eat lunch. I'll check in later. That may have been the shortest lunch break in the history of short lunch breaks. I've always seen pictures of this area, and in kind of a dumb way, I've always wanted to come here. Well, I'm here, and I have to say I'm not underwhelmed. This is really pretty. And on the other side, it's such a beautiful spring day. March in Alabama, you really don't know what you're gonna get. You get a day like this where it's beautiful and really warm, and you can get freezing temperatures and sleet or thunderstorms, all kind of stuff. Could not have dialed up a better day. So anyway, I took a short lunch break because I still have about 10 miles to go. And it's 11 o'clock, and I'd like to get there potentially before anybody else. I'm taking just standard precautions for coronavirus. I am not going to share a shelter with anyone, so if I get there and I'm the only one, I'll stay in it. If there's anyone else, more than maybe one or two people, then I will pitch my tent. So that is the plan. So I'm walking through an area that has been recently burned. Talladega National Forest does periodic burns, one for the suppression of wildfires, but also, oh my goodness, but also for the promotion of the longleaf pine forest ecosystem, because those trees depend on periodic burns in order to germinate, I think. If you know, put it in the comments, because I think I'm kind of guessing there. Anyway, I knew they had been doing some burns, and didn't know whether I'd be actually walking through it or not. But here I am. All right, so the map on Gut Hook shows that I'm going to be walking along this creek for a while. I've already been along the creek for maybe 200 yards. I really just joined it. I don't remember how much of the trail between here and Coleman Campground is going to be along this creek, but I think it's a significant portion of it. So I'm past halfway to the shelter. It's about 2 o'clock. Time is pretty good. I'm not really in any kind of rush. Sun's not going to set till about 6:30 anyway, so I've got plenty of time. But just wanted to take a little bit of this video because on this stretch of trail right here, because this is one of the things about the Pinhoti that I really like. These stretches where it's pine forest. It's kind of open. In fact, there was more of a field back behind me. This is just one of the qualities of the Pinhoti that I really do like. I enjoy hiking it just for some of this. All right, so quick stop off here at the Shoal Creek Church. I don't think it's legal to hike this section and not stop at the Shoal Creek Church. It's interesting. It's got kind of a covered pavilion there because I'm sure on the rare occasions where it's used, I'm sure, do a lunch where all the ladies bring casseroles. I'm not sure how much is going to show in here because it is pretty dark, but I'll go in. Maybe I won't. Yeah, this is probably not going to hardly show on camera. But anyway, bunch of pews, pulpit at the front, wood floor. It's a log church. It's interesting. The car there belongs to a mountain biker. Stopped and had a brief conversation with him. The coronavirus has got me not wanting to stop too long to talk to anybody. All right, about to get it back on the trail. Got about 2 miles left to get to my shelter for the night. Okay, so I'm at the Laurel shelter. I did my 12 miles for today, and that's what I've got. Like I said before, I've got to average 12 miles to finish in the number of days I'm planning. I think days 3 and 4 I'm gonna push a little bit harder and make day 5 shorter. I think this is the last time I'm on video for tonight. There's nobody at the shelter, obviously, so I think I'm just gonna claim the shelter and plan on spending the night in here. And if somebody else comes in, I may go set up the tent. There are plenty of flat spots out there to go set up a tent. So I go get some water and rehydrate because all day today I had just short of 3 liters and I need to get something to drink. The upside to having the mashed potatoes is that you put the water in there and they're immediately done. It's ready to eat right then. There's no waiting. These roasted garlic potatoes are fantastic. I realize I'm eating right here in your face, but whatever. Well, I said when I first got to this shelter that that one video was probably going to be it. And that turned out not to be true. The sun is setting. And I've got what appears to be an attempt at at having a fire. I don't know that I'm going to actually stoke it a whole lot. The purpose was not even to have a fire. It was just to have some smoke. The mosquitoes and gnats are driving me nuts, and because it's so warm. It's just been really warm today. So I thought, well, I'll get some smoke going. Maybe that'll knock them back a little bit. I made a decision not to sleep in the shelter. That my intent was to sleep in the shelter, but again, it's the mosquitoes and the gnats. They're just sort of driving me crazy. So what I did is I set up my tent, and it's not supposed to rain tonight. It is supposed to rain. There's an 80% chance of rain tomorrow, but that's supposed to start later in the afternoon. So I set up, and I'm gonna leave the doors on both sides open so that I can get a little bit of ventilation, and maybe I won't have so much. Of course, it's gonna be warm tonight, but so I shouldn't have too much trouble with condensation. I'm finding that a trekking pole tent sets up and tears down pretty easily. It goes pretty quick, so I don't anticipate getting out late tomorrow. My only regret for the day is there was no signal, so I couldn't call home to say, hey, I'm good, everything's fine. But I did tell Mrs. Squidley that there would be probably a couple of nights where I didn't have a signal. Just don't worry, it just means, if I don't call, it just means I don't have a signal. So that means I'm gonna be searching for a signal as I go through part of the day tomorrow, because I really want to be able to touch base and say, hey, I'm good. So, all right, I will sign off for the night. All right, about 7:45, just leaving the shelter, and so begins day 2. Last night, I didn't get a chance to call Mrs. Squidley and the boys, so I was a little bummed about that. I thought I would have a signal here, and then I looked in Gut Hook and they said no signal here, but they said at the next one there's no signal at the shelter, but if you go up the hill behind it, you can get a Verizon signal, which is what I have. So I'll be trying through the day to call, and if I don't get a chance to through the course of the day, I'll just do it hopefully when I get to that shelter. And because I was a little bummed last night. The biggest thing is it bothers me when she's expecting that I can probably make a call, and then I can't make a call, and so she's wondering, okay, what happened to you today? The very first thing is, I started out with damp socks this morning, and I was okay with it. Today will be the last day for these socks anyway. They stand to get wet because we're supposed to have some rain today. And this is what first thing in the morning leaving the shelter starts out with. So I'm just gonna walk across it and get wet and just make a decision to be okay with that. Ooh, that water is cool. View of High Rock Lake, and as I came around the corner, I disturbed a bunch of ducks. They're pretty upset with me right now. Let's just stop for a leave no trace moment for a second. It just doesn't make any sense at all. Why would you do that? Up above the spillway for Sweetwater Lake, not High Rock, Sweetwater. And walking across a meadow. I'm getting close to Pine Glen Campground, which I do plan to stop at, even if it's just to stop and have a drink of water. But as we're going along, the trail parallels this meadow. That's a pretty green meadow. All right, lunchtime. I'm sitting on the side of a Forest Service road, so I hope I can do this with nobody coming by. But it's time for lunch. I did this lunch once before. It was really good. Tortilla. Walmart Great Value chicken and fajita sauce. See if I can do this without making a mess all over the place. And now that would be good on its own. But how about a couple of Taco Bell hot sauces? And I'm gonna be making 2 of these. And they are, aside from being cold, they are pretty good. Bon appetit. All right, so I'm at, what is this, Lower Shoal Shelter. This is a wonderful place. I'll probably do a little tour in a little while. Has 2 streams that converge to form, obviously, a little bit bigger one. Moving water. It's probably going to serenade me to sleep tonight. That's the plan, anyway. I got here about 1:15, way early. And I would have kept going, except that I know that there's supposed to be some pretty bad storms tonight. Or I don't know about how bad, but it's supposed to thunderstorm and just be kind of nasty. And I thought, I really don't want a tent in that. So what it means is I stopped today at 1:30, and I've got to kind of stay on schedule. I've got 15 tomorrow. The terrain has been really pretty easy, just rolling terrain. I took some time to, I've got the trail register, I'm reading it, and I'm maybe a third of the way through it. And it's just interesting to read it and see some familiar names from YouTube. You know, some hikers that have gained some notoriety on YouTube. Darwin and Super Classy. Saw their entries, and it just kind of makes me wonder who else I'm going to run across. All right, I don't know how much I'm going to video tonight. I may, if it storms, I may video during the storm just to kind of give a flavor of what I'm enduring. But so I've been sitting a lot, resting up, knowing what the day holds for. So I thought, well, I need to get up and stretch my legs a little bit. And I thought, well, while I do, why don't I give you the dime tour? So the shelter, obviously, the shelters, generally speaking, have picnic tables. Every one I've come across so far on the Pinhoti has had a picnic. I can't tell you how pretty this is. So here you've got the 2 creeks coming together. Further up. And the fact that that's the sun right there has got me a little ill. Because I passed on an additional 6 miles to a tent site in order to stay here because of the thunderstorms that were supposed to take place tonight. And to tell you the truth, it doesn't look anything like there are going to be thunderstorms tonight. So, well, I'll pay for it the next 2 days because I'll have to do some extra miles on those, but it's all right. Well, good morning. Day 3 on the Pinhoti. I'm leaving Lower Shoal Shelter. And it rained last night. In fact, it rained most of the night, actually. It seems like every time I woke up, it was raining. It never did storm. It was never a thunderstorm. So there was never any thunder, lightning, real hard. I mean, it was rain, but nothing really hard where it was just raining buckets or anything like that. So there's a piece of me that regrets not just moving on and making up some miles yesterday. I had a hard time making a decision to actually get up, and that is so unlike me. I am usually early getting up. I got up this morning, had a liter of water, and I had 2 packets of oatmeal, and I'm starting to feel well, and also a cup of coffee. So I'm starting to feel better about moving on down the trail now. The gut hooks, or gut hook, yeah, shows that there's water along the way, but a lot of the comments said that the streams I'll be encountering the first half of the day are not all reliable. So I'm starting out with 2 liters of water, which has me a little bit heavy. The good thing about day 3, though, on any trip, is that I start to feel a noticeable lightness in my pack from not carrying quite as much food. It's been sprinkling on and off. When it's not sprinkling, there's still a mist. I wanted to show this. It's a dry campsite. There's no water. So I've been calling this my redemption hike because I came to finish what Rob Lowe and I were supposed to do, but we had to get off trail because I got sick. And so I'm coming up to the trailhead now where we would have finished. And so the redemption hike is over. Now, from here, I'm going to continue on to Cheaha State Park. I'm not going to video that. I'm just going to end the video right here, but I've got another 2 nights to finish to Cheaha. It's been a good hike. Glad you came along with me.